Living tiny is flipping the financial script. I'm not just talking about the mortgage. After 10 years, you could save hundreds of thousands of dollars if you decided to go tiny, with taxes, insurance, HOA fees, and numerous other costs that happen with a traditional stick-built home that do not happen when you purchase a tiny home with a piece of land. All you have to do is think a little smaller, or maybe a little bigger than the traditional stick-built dream. And by the end of this video, you're going to see exactly how you can save so much money by thinking tiny. And you're going to be saying to your friends, I like tiny homes too.
Hi, my name is Ellen, and this is my tiny home. And I lived in a 1,200 square foot condo and was trying to figure out how to come back and have an affordable living situation.
I don't know why older generations like to poop on the whole idea of going tiny, but what they don't realize is that there isn't a lot of smaller houses that are available. Now, there are some new home builders that are building smaller, and I want to show you this house by Lennar.
What's going on, everybody? We're out here looking at this tiny home community in San Antonio, Texas. A lot of people like them. A lot of people hate them. Let me know what you think in the comments below.
And it is small. It's like 700 square feet. This housing development went totally viral because of how incredibly small they are. They're as small as tiny homes. And look at the price. Look at the price. $179,999. It's 771 square feet. It is a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. You'll have HOA fees. You will have property taxes fees. You have homeowners insurance fees. You may even have PMI insurance on top of it all. Your 30-year fixed rate mortgage doesn't mean that your payments are fixed, especially when home insurance prices continuously go up.
And as climate change fuels a stark increase in extreme weather, it is also driving up the cost of homeowners insurance.
And we all know property taxes never go down. So now let's compare the price. For a tiny home that may be just a little bit smaller than that, 600 square feet, for instance, and buying your own piece of land in a neighborhood that isn't a neighborhood where you don't have HOA fees. If you decided to put that tiny home on wheels, you may not even have to pay any property taxes for anything other than the land. And HOA, you wouldn't need an HOA. This would be on a rural track. You're not paying anybody, and no Karen is going to knock on your door and tell you you can't have a clothesline up. So let's break down the prices so you can see for yourself why this is going to be incredibly smart for you to actually own a tiny home over compared to something like this.
The one thing I love sitting on my porch. Here's my septic system and the other part of my split level AC right here.
All right, so we're going to buy that house in Texas, $176,999. The interest rate right now is at 6.65%. The HOA fees are about $100 a month. The estimated property taxes are going to be about 2.1%. Homeowners insurance is around 0.5% of the cost of the house. And don't forget, you're going to have to pay for inspections, your closing costs, title fees. All that's going to get wrapped up in that mortgage too. And if you're not putting any money down, you know you're going to have to pay PMI insurance as well. That doesn't protect you. That protects the lender, by the way. So you can add an additional 0.5% for PMI insurance. So your payment for that little house, that $176,999 house is, drumroll please, your payment comes out to be around $1,767.27. And you know, it's going to go up. It doesn't stay at that payment because of insurance and taxes. That will always go up. So now let's do the same thing for a tiny home and see how much you'll actually save. To make it fair, we have to find a piece of property first, right? Well, it just so happens I've been going on the old Google webs. I ended up finding a piece of land, and I know that it's very difficult to find land, especially rural land. Now, if you're going to be doing something like this, one of the things you may want to consider is something called recreational land, especially if you're not going to be putting this tiny home on a pad. You're just going to keep it on the wheel so you can move it from location to location. Recreational properties are going to allow you to do that. Now, if you live in some rural areas and they'll call it rural tract land, they may require you to have a pad on that property. Always check with your local planning and zoning to find out if you're going to need to have, any kind of pad for this particular piece of land before you even put in a contract on it. But I found several pieces of land that are right in our price range because I'm looking for cheap. I want to go as cheap as possible. Okay, so I'm on land.com. This is a reputable website that you can find land for sale. And of course, this is what I'm looking for is recreational properties. Yes, it's going to include a residence, and we don't need any bedrooms. Ooh, here we go, $30,000. That is the price that we need. All right. Does it need a little work? Sure. There's a lot for sale, whether you're a homeowner or an investor. This land has endless possibilities. Imagine your design and own space crafting a project that stands out in the market. Oh, it looks like it's got a little road. I'm assuming that's water. Looks like there's water out there, which is a plus. That's going to save you a lot of money if it already has water out there. Is it beautiful? No, but you can make it beautiful. All right, that's something to consider. Here's another one for 25,000, and it looks like it's in a pretty busy area. It's going to be a small piece of land, but at least it's there. There are neighboring lots for single-family homes. It has potential. You may not be able to put a tiny home on it because it is so close to the city, but it's something to think about. You can find pieces of land for really cheap, and that's my point. You can find pieces of land for really, really cheap. You don't think that Lennar got a good deal on the land where they put those really tiny homes on? I bet you they didn't even pay more than like $10,000 per lot. I could be wrong about that. The cost for them to build that house with the cost of the lot drawn together is not going to equate for them $176,000. I wonder what the spread is on that for them as far as equity that they're earning. And why wouldn't you want that equity in your pocket? I know it's convenient for you to just go ahead and sign on the dotted line, wait 40 days, and then you get into a brand new house. But if you take a little bit of extra time, a little bit of more elbow grease, and take the time to build up a piece of land like this, then put your tiny home on it, you're going to save so much more money. And I know a lot of you are thinking, well, tiny homes have gotten really expensive. Yes, they have, but you can also find really good kits to build your tiny homes, like this one right here. Now, I've seen similar things to that built for a lot more money. And to find something for that price, I mean, you can't even find a brand new car for less than $16,000. So you take that tiny home, that's $16,000. Then you buy a piece of land that costs you, let's just say, $30,000 in San Antonio. How much are you actually going to save because you decided to think a little bigger by going a little smaller? Well, let's break down the math there. I want to be honest. So all these things are going to cost you some money, and they're all going to add up. So if you're following me and following my calculations, you'll see that the payments are a little bit different. And they're going to be over a shorter period of time, which is going to allow you to get this paid off even faster than a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. So first, we bought the land, and you bought that land for $30,000. The interest payments on those are going to be a lot higher than they would be for a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. So on a land loan, it's going to be around 8%, but your loan terms are going to be around 10 years. And that payment is going to be $229.19 a month. Now we got more payments every single month. So what else we have to do that land? We're going to have to get utilities and have the land improved. That's including scraping and all these other things. You're probably not going to have the money in your pocket to do this. So you're going to need some kind of personal loan to do it. So your land improvements are going to cost you some money too. And like I said, I'm being honest. So I'm guessing high. So the land improvements are going to cost you about $30,000, just as much as the land. Now, the tiny home is going to be your least expensive thing that you purchase, and that is $15,995. I'm giving you the example that we just looked at. You're able to get a personal loan or some kind of loan for that at a whopping 10%, which is really high. You can pay this off even faster if you did the loan term even shorter. But your monthly payment for that 7-year loan is going to cost you $264.76. Your property taxes on this is, because it's just the land, you won't have to be putting the house on there, is going to be very minimal. And we're talking $60 a month for this. It's actually like $59.16 if we're going to be exact. Now, if you wanted to go really cheap, you don't have to get any kind of homeowner's insurance. And to get homeowner's insurance for tiny homes can be extremely difficult. This is entirely up to you. So if you wanted to go the cheapest route possible without having any homeowner's insurance, your grand total of a payment per month with everything included, $918.04. Now, you're still going to have some payment increases when it comes to your property taxes, but that it's going to be so minimal in comparison to having that stick-built home with a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. And you may be thinking, well, that's not much of a price difference because that's a lot of work for a little tiny property. Let me tell you how much you're going to actually save over 10 years if you do it this way. Because first off, you're going to have everything paid off in 15 years. Everything. The house and all the improvements. All of that will be paid in half the time that it would be for that 30-year fixed rate mortgage. So if you've been following the math, when you bought that house, if you decided to buy the house with a 30-year fixed rate mortgage, your house payments that you have paid over the last 10 years is going to be $212,072.00. And that's only if things have not changed with property taxes and insurance. Now, the cost for the tiny home over the 10 years is going to be $155,730.24. So if you follow the math, how much did you actually save over those 10 years? You saved $56,342.16. The cost difference is going to be huge, especially over that period of time. And I know that some family members are going to be saying to you that this isn't a great idea because what about the resale value of your piece of property? And this is how I want you, by thinking small, you're thinking bigger. You're not only saving tens of thousands of dollars, you're also looking at this as a stepping stone. All the money that you would have been paying on that payment for the traditional house, you now can save that money as a nest egg for emergencies, medical things come up, or you can even save that for a down payment on your dream house in the future. Now, going tiny for a lot of people is not going to be the long-term solution for you, but it is a stepping stone into real estate. And the one way you can get around having to pay any of these huge conglomerates when it comes to rent, because all you're doing with rent is throwing it away, is to get into something like this. You beat them at their own system. These big landlord companies are not thinking that you're smart enough to buy a piece of land, that you don't have the energy enough to want to fix it up and do it yourself. They think that you just don't know. And it's up to me to tell you, this is the way you can do it. It's going to take time. It's going to take patience, but you can do it. Now, the other thing I want you to think about when it comes to this piece of land, after 10 years, you may still have a few more payments. You still have like 5 more years payments on just one thing because all the other stuff is already paid off. You can now take that nest egg of money that you've acquired, you can buy your dream house, but instead of selling that piece of land, you can go ahead and start renting out your own tiny home, maybe even turn it into an Airbnb, or you could even replace the tiny home itself with something else. If that land is big enough, maybe you can put several little tiny homes on there and you can rent them all out as Airbnbs, and then you have income producing property. You have to be thinking bigger than what our parents and even myself, you guys that are looking at this now, are not living in the same world as I was when I was buying my first house, or my parents were buying their first house, and certainly not my grandparents are buying their first house. So even though older generations may poo-poo on this idea, it's not a bad idea because it can save you so much money. Think smaller to think bigger to save more money. That should be my new motto. I should put it on a t-shirt. But let me show you in comparison to renting an apartment in San Antonio. How much could you actually save if you were able to only rent and not buy a piece of land? How much could you actually save? Could you save anything? Let's figure it out together. So I'm being fair because I've just looked on apartments.com and I found some apartments that are actually cheaper than the payments that you would get if you were to buy a tiny home with a piece of land in San Antonio. And the least expensive apartment I was able to find, it was a 1-bedroom for $730. Now the square footage on this, 522 square feet. So you'd be giving up a little bit of square footage by going with something like this in comparison to a tiny home. So how much would you be saving over 10 years if the apartment did not change in price at all over those 10 years?
Are you crazy?
Our apartment is only going to be $730. So that makes a difference of $188 per month. Now let's do that over 10 years. So we're going to times that by 10, and that is $22,560. You would have saved more money by getting that tiny home with the piece of land in comparison to the house, which was $56,000. And you're going to be able to save a little bit of extra money, right? If you were to get the apartment, you're only going to be saving $22,560. Nothing to sneeze at, but that's only saying if that apartment stays at that price over the next 10 years. And I can guarantee you, unless there's some financial disaster.
Economic nuclear winter, that is the grim warning.
Your apartment's not going to stay at that incredibly low price. Now, you can always move and blah, blah, blah. I know your parents are going to be like, oh, you're just dreaming. You can't just poop on an idea. Saving $22,560 is nothing to sneeze at. But having a house of your own that you can do whatever you want. You don't have to listen to neighbors pounding upstairs. You don't have to deal with the landlords. It belongs to you. You have no HOA. There's so many upsides to owning your own piece of property and doing it this way in comparison to living in an apartment complex or even taking on a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. I'm not telling you not to buy a house. I'm telling you this is a way for you to save money for your future, a stepping stone into real estate. If you're looking at something like this, one thing I want you to consider is consider a manufactured home. The difference between that, though, is that if you do decide to go with a manufactured home that sits on a piece of land, your property taxes will go up because it's considered real property. It's attached to the property, not on wheels like it would be for a tiny home. Bonus to that, though, you have more space. So if you need more space, consider a manufactured home. You're going to have a harder time finding a piece of land that will allow tiny homes and manufactured homes. But if you're looking at those recreational pieces of property, a lot of times they have no regulations, so you can do whatever you want. It's just one more thing to think about if you're thinking about doing something other than tiny. And you may want to present that as an option if your family's poo-pooing on your dreams of going tiny, but show your family all the pros and cons and all the money that you would save by not getting a manufactured or mobile home, how going tiny will save you a lot more money, especially if they're telling you to just rent until you can save up for a house. I mean, come on.
I'm really just fortunate I moved this when I did. I'm so happy I did it. That was tough. My brother did help a lot because he knew a lot more than I did. I knew nothing about any of this until I just jumped into it.
All right, you've made the decision. You've convinced your family. You're buying the piece of land and you're going to buy a tiny house. This is the part where you guys really need to do a lot of investigation skills. And I know many of you are super smart and know how to use the whole Reddit system. And this is when you start investigating companies and start finding out their reviews for those specific companies. You're going to see on your Instagram feeds and on X and on TikTok all sorts of people selling tiny home kits, and be very buyer beware when it comes to some of these companies. They're offering them at lower prices, but are they able to deliver on their homes? Not too long ago, a year ago, matter of fact, there was a guy who went completely viral on TikTok selling his tiny homes. And he used the whole guise of, he's really trying to help out society with these tiny homes, and he had this whole grand vision. The problem was a lot of people put down deposits and never got their tiny homes. And it's very common in the tiny home space, in the affordable housing space, that you put down these deposits for these small builders and they never deliver on their homes. I know, and I've spoken about themselves, you might see a lot of tiny homes online from places like Amazon or Alibaba, all these other websites that offer these very inexpensive tiny homes. One thing to be aware of is that now things have changed in the world, that if you're ordering something that comes in from a different country, you're likely going to have to pay tariffs for that specific house. So if you found a house on Alibaba for $10,000, that doesn't mean that you're not going to have to pay the tariffs once it hits the port. You get a bill. You actually get a bill that says, okay, the cost of the house is this. They've estimated, and customs now says you owe this amount of money for the tariffs. But some of these tiny homes that you see, especially the ones that you see online, they have no local building code that they meet. They're meeting the code to make it less expensive, as light as possible, to ship across the ocean to get into your backyard. Now, if you're just using this for a temporary living situation, I think it's completely fine. But know that you're getting what you get, and you really can't throw a fit.
And they know I'll throw a fit
if things don't really go your way. I've seen lots of people online. This guy over here on YouTube even bought one, but no one I know has actually lived in one for a period of time. One guy I saw online, he bought one just to put it in a storage unit. So do they leak? We don't know. And if you have some kind of issues with those houses that you buy from overseas, even though they have some kind of warranty, if you have issues with it, are they going to come out and send you some parts? Sure, probably. But you're going to have to pay tariffs on those parts that they send back out. And who's going to come out to fix it? It's going to be up to you to fix those things. But if you're handy and you're willing to do all those things and you're willing to take that risk, it's something you can consider, especially with the affordability crisis growing as much as it has. This sector of real estate is going to continue to grow. As homes get more expensive, the idea of the first American home, the American dream that they sold us all the way in the 50s, 60s, all the way through the 90s, does not exist anymore. It hasn't existed since the year 2000. Why not save so much more money and get yourself your own piece of land where you could do what you want to do on it and save over $55,000 in comparison to buying that house? We have to flip the script on buying housing today. So that way younger generations do not become discouraged about buying their own home. So many Gen Z and younger generations think they will never own a home. And this is the way we can do it. Do you think this is a viable option for younger generations? I want to know in the comments section below. But I have more videos that you can watch about tiny homes. There's actually a lady right here that built a tiny home out of a shed from Home Depot. You want to check out this video right here. And she's older. She did this whole thing for $35,000. And you can too. My name is Kristina Smallhorn, your real estate whisperer. And I tell you all this because good real estate information matters, and everybody deserves an affordable home. Everybody.